Yeah, so again, I welcome everybody to this gathering. We'll be together for about an hour. We don't want to take too much time because we want to really dive into the issue we are coming for. And I just want to start by saying that, as we all know, what is happening in Gaza today is not a humanitarian crisis. This is a calculated act to invoke mass starvation on an entire population. This is not a failure of a system. This is a result of policies. This is the consequences of international decisions that are made at the highest level to deprive and displace and destroy the population of Gaza. As we sit here today, we acknowledge that over 2 million Palestinians in Gaza are facing extreme hunger. Nearly 500,000 are in what we call catastrophic conditions, at risk of famine and death. This is not statistics. This is a mother who is holding her child as that child passes away. It is a father who is searching in rubble for a piece of bread. It is children dying. Again, not because food does not exist, but because it is being withheld. For months now, Israel's blockade has completely restricted food, water, fuel, and medicine from entering Gaza. And we all know that the blockade existed 16 years before 2023. Even now, the drop of in the ocean of what is called aid resumption is chaotic, politicized, and grossly inadequate. Aid is being distributed, as we saw recently on social media, without dignity or safety for the people receiving it. As Nonviolence International, standing with all of you in this space, we all refuse to be silent. And in partnerships with many organizations, such as Veterans for Peace and Friends of Sabil North America, spiritual communities worldwide, we have all come together and supported the launch of a fasting program for 40 days in support for Gaza. This is a spiritual, political, and moral act of solidarity to awaken the conscience of the world and to demand an immediate end to this atrocity, to end the blockade, to allow unrestricted humanitarian access, and to hold those that are using starvation as a weapon accountable to international law. This is not about politics. This is about decency. Gaza is starving before our eyes, and we need this to stop. And again, I really thank you and appreciate you joining us today. And we are honored to have with us Dr. Musallam, who is joining us from Gaza, who is going to share with us the latest updates and information firsthand from what is being experienced in Gaza. Dr. Musallam runs an organization called Dignity for Palestinians. As Nonviolence International, we are proud to be fiscal sponsors and supporters of this work, and many of you have supported Dignity for Palestinians. And we will add a link encouraging you to share that link and to support this and many other organizations. Dr. Musallam, thank you for joining us from Gaza today.
Thank you, Sami.
Yeah, and if you could just share with us what is happening in Gaza, the crisis, the new crisis that you are facing, the situation, and what you are doing about it.
Thank you. My name is Musallam Abu Khalil. I am a Palestinian physician from Gaza, currently working in Nasser Medical Complex in Khan Yunis, the last major hospital, still serving the entire southern region of Gaza. I am also the founder of the Dignity for Palestinians campaign, which is a grassroots community-led initiative in Gaza, locally led in Gaza and globally supported by friends and allies that has responded to the needs of our people on the ground. I want to begin by sincerely thanking all of you who are showing up and perhaps fasting today. Your act of solidarity means the world for us. And thank you, Nonviolence International and Veterans for Peace, and the Friends of Sabil North America for making this space for Gaza. So the latest updates that we have from my direct experience with the hospital system in Gaza, and also with my local knowledge with the humanitarian interventions here in Gaza. All of you know that the situation in Gaza right now is beyond catastrophic. It's worsening day by day. The number of casualties since October 2023 has reached over 50,360 Palestinians have been killed. The displacement has been affected by 90% of the Gaza population have been displaced at least once. Now with the hospital that I am working in, which is Nasser Medical Complex, because as many of you, the European Gaza Hospital, which was also on Khan Yunis, has been asked to evacuate, and it's out of service for more than 2 weeks. So now, increasing demand on patient needs with people seeking refuge and shelter inside the hospital has skyrocketed during the last 2 weeks. We are overwhelmed. We have seen patients lie on the floor, sometimes die because of horrible injuries. And when we admit patients, we are sometimes forced to admit them in the hospital corridors. We don't have enough bed capacity to accommodate the health needs of our population. You can see, if you are someone working here in the hospital, you can see the intravenous lines hanging from the windows and walls. Basic supplies like fluids, essential life-saving medications have run out. And we see many cases of a preventable death, not just surgical cases as a direct effect of the war, but also medical cases like patients with a chronic disease and cancer are not receiving the care that they deserve, and they can, and they die. And we see them die because, and the hardest reality is that their death is preventable. It's completely preventable. Not only this, but also our hospital now shelters hundreds of displaced families. Many of those families who have fled in the recent weeks from eastern Khan Yunis are seeking refuge inside the hospital because they have nowhere to go. The food security is a big issue. Many families we know and we see are eating one meal a day, sometimes just bread and water. And it's the fast today, and perhaps for the next 40 days, is not just symbolic. It's very real for so many of us here in Palestine and Gaza. The water, the crisis, you can see long lines. If you look at the news and those water trucking activities, you can see long lines of people just waiting for sometimes not completely clean water, just to drink. And for bathing, many people who live in displacement camps have not bathed in weeks, which means we have seen firsthand that the risk of those waterborne diseases is growing fast, not in the hospital, but also in medical points dispersed across Gaza. With the children, you can't find a child here without him waiting in a community kitchen with his plate, waiting for his line just to eat food. You can see also children on the street selling simple items just to support their families. When I was working with an international organization, we had this protection program, and many of the children were asked to draw pictures as kind of recreational activities. Many of the pictures they draw is tanks, bombs, people halved in pieces. So the most worrying repercussion of this war is going to affect the children who have now seen more than almost 2 years of active war and killing. They are now living or growing in rubble in displacement camps, not in classrooms where every child must spend the early ages or the early stages of his life. And just last week we had, and this has been covered on the news, our colleague, I want to mention her story, Dr. Ala al-Najjar, our colleague, children doctor from Nasser Medical Complex, very quiet and committed pediatrician who at that time was working in her department. On May 24th, when she was on a shift at the hospital, she received the news from one of our medical colleagues that her children are now arriving to the hospital. She has lost 9 of her 10 children, the youngest just 7 months old. Her husband, our also colleague and a doctor, and their surviving son, Adam, were both seriously injured during this horrific incident, and they remain in critical condition. And this is just a story of hundreds and thousands of stories of loss for people who are not just normal citizens, but also people who are on the front line, doctors. No one is protected from this madness. No one at all. Now, despite all of this, we have, as a small team here in Gaza, and also with the global supporters, we are trying to implement and community responsive activities and interventions. So with the help of Nonviolence International and also our friends from the US, UK, Ireland, Malaysia, we have delivered over 100 humanitarian initiatives that has reached and helped more than 100,000 people. And you can see from our social media, we are distributing clean water, drinking water to displacement camps. Yes, it's true that our organization is community-led and small, but here in Gaza, the situation does not even, the demands that our population need is not half met. It's just a drop of the ocean of needs and demands and requirements that the population has needs. And I'm not speaking to you today as a representative of a big organization or someone who is involved in politics. I am speaking to you as someone who has worked as a doctor, as someone who organized some of these activities, and also as a son and a citizen of Gaza. And we want to continue to reiterate this important request that we are asking everyone to keep standing with the people of Gaza, not with just fasting or financial contribution. No, we are asking them to stay engaged all the time, because we need more people to talk about what's happening in Gaza. We need people to share the reality of human stories that are happening every day, of resilience, of loss, of someone who's dedicating his hours and hours without sleep to do something for his people. And we want also a push for open borders, for humanitarian corridors. And one last update I want to give you about the horrific, what they call the humanitarian distribution of aid that has occurred in the last 3 or 4 days, organized by this shady organization, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which has bypassed all the pre-existing network of support run by UNRWA and also the WFP and other international organizations now being sidelined from distributing aid. This distribution centers in Rafah. 3 centers have been opened in Rafah, 1 center in middle area, just 2 kilometers away from where I live now, have not proven any, it's a complete disaster, that there is no effective, organized, and comprehensive distribution mechanism that will reach all these displaced people Many of those people who are hungry now have broken into these distribution points. So it's just perhaps it's a public a PR stunt that will feel like something is tangible is happening for the people of Gaza, which when in fact it's not. I want everyone to know that the only effective distribution of aid has to be run through the international organizations and local organizations who have proven experience with this, including UNRWA and other organizations, and also with the community acceptance. Not just someone decisions has been made in isolation of communities and tribes and people of Gaza. With this, I stop. I thank you again for inviting me in Nonviolence International to share my updates with you. And I thank every one of you who is now listening to show up. It's very important to show up and stay engaged.
Yeah, I mean, no words but deep gratitude, Dr. Musallam, for your sharing and for your resiliency in the face of what you and all our families in Gaza are facing. And I just want to reiterate this point that we are not standing with you out of charity. We are standing with you out of activism, our commitment to end the siege, to end the blockade, to allow food to enter. And I know many, many people here in this space in this room today are engaged in this fasting in solidarity and in direct action with the people of Gaza. And we will continue to do everything we can, every possible action we can think of. I don't know, many people also feel helpless in the face of this amazing atrocity that we're witnessing, but we do not give up. And I want to second your appreciation for the people that are fasting today with you. I know that we have somebody, and I'm sorry I don't know the name of somebody joining us from New York, from Veterans for Peace, maybe, who was an organization that was launching and started this campaign. If they could just point themselves out or maybe just begin speaking. We're supposed to have somebody join us from that group.
Sami, I'm not sure that anyone from New York was able to join.
Okay.
Apologies.
No problem. So then, Reverend Addy, you're next online.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, from FASNA, and if you could just share with us about the campaign, the intention, yes, and where things are as well these days.
Yes, it's so good to be with you, friends. Thank you, Dr. Musallam, for joining us. I'm going to put a link in the chat to sign up for the fast if you're interested. Also, I'm here. My name's Addie. I'm the new national organizer with FASNA. I started on May 1st and just launched straight into this campaign because our work is urgent and we do this out of activism, right, Sami? Not out of charity. And so I'm here with my kid, Sagan. We were just in Jerusalem for Holy Week, so Sagan is aware of a free Palestine, and we are here to put our bodies into the movement, right? So we have over 600 people across the world who are signed up to fast. You are invited to be one of those people if you're not one of them right now. The link is in the chat. And we have some folks who are veterans who are fasting in community with medical infrastructure on 250 calories a day. Folks are also dispersed across the world and able to do that with their own local infrastructure, but it's also an invitation to join in the way that works best for your body. So, for example, as a mother with a little kid who's moving across the country at this time and also has the choice to do this, I'm fasting from meat. So if that's something that is accessible to you, I talked to a 90-year-old man who lives in a retirement home yesterday who said he's going to fast from the wine that he has every night at dinner. And that's an entry point for us. But I also want to lift up one of our fasters who mentioned that this is the freedom of choice to be able to opt into an action like this, that's a privilege, and that we recognize that in order for me to be a good mother, I'm going to eat a meal every day, and that is not something that is offered to mothers in Gaza. And so as I parent every day, I remember mothers in Gaza, and this fast is intended to push our bodies into remembrance of our kin and our friends, right? Want to just reiterate a couple things. The demands are full humanitarian aid to Gaza under UN authority. So if you could be great messengers for us and remind folks that just because there's this shoddy aid that's gone in, that's a farce, that's not real aid. And like Dr. Musallam said, it needs to be in collaboration and have consent from the community. The second demand is no more US weapons to Israel. And our plan was to do this for 40 days. 40 days is a really significant number for lots of traditions in the world. And that at the end of 40 days, if our demands have not been met, that we will escalate. And by this time, that means that 600 people across the world will have put their bodies into this movement. And at the end of 40 days on June 30th, they will be ready to do something really big to tell people you didn't meet our demands, and so we're taking next steps. We're doing this in community. There's a lot of more people than we expected joining this, and so I'm going to throw some more links in. We just started a WhatsApp community if you're interested in joining that. We also have a media kit because we would love to get this shared across the world. So I'm putting a media kit in. I see someone is sharing a chain fast, which is another great way of using your roots to spread this action further and get more people involved. And one more thing I want to put in the chat is that we're going to have a mass call next Wednesday. I just put the Zoom link in and I didn't write the whole date. It's Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. And we're hoping to gather everybody together. So we'd love to have 600 people at that call. If you're not signed up for the fast, you're invited to join, but this is catered towards our fasters. So what you should really do is just sign up for the fast, and then you'll be a member of our community. We put our bodies into this movement. We do it imperfectly. It's never equivalent to the work that Palestinians are doing. But we do this because we believe that Palestine will be free and that all children will live in a world where they can sit while their mom's on a Zoom call and feel free. And so let's do this together, friends. I'm going to put some more things in the chat, but that's it for me. Thank you, Sami and Michael and Dr. Musallam.
Yeah, thank you, Adi, for this amazing work that you and everybody else is doing. And we do want to encourage you, join the fast and participate in it. And one thing I want to encourage you is to inform people that you are fasting. Start with your family, with your friends, with your congregations, at your workplace. I mean, fasting and solidarity on your own is wonderful, and it's very deep and spiritual practice, but inform others that you are doing this and inform them why. So let us use our bodies and our fasting as the campaign that we need to do. The closest people to you can be influenced really by you, not by media, not by social media, but by you. And when you are putting your body online and fasting, I really, really believe you will have great influence, and our movement will continue to grow and grow. And this is what we need more than ever at this time. And I know that many people here have begun the campaign and are fasting. And I just want to honor you and open up space to invite you to share maybe where you are, what you are doing. Yeah, anything you would like to share that encourages the rest of us as people who have begun and are engaging in this fasting. So please, if you'd like to share something, raise your hand and yeah, share with us what your thoughts are as joining and being part of this campaign.
This is Ted from Ontario. May I ask a question?
Yes, Ted.
Yeah, I'm joining you from the unceded territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin territory. I'm a Christian. I wanted to ask perhaps Reverend Domsky or another Christian. I didn't share my fast yet because of the Sermon on the Mount saying not to show the fast. I was a bit uncertain about that. If any Christian pastor could make a brief comment, that would help me.
Yes, I would love to. Is that okay if I respond to that?
You're the pastor.
One of many. We're all theologians here in my mind. Thank you, Ted. What a great question. The way I read the Bible is not literally. And so I think the intention, I don't know how that lands with you, that first sentence, but I think the intention of that is the things that we do quietly, our spiritual practices that we do individually, are not something to boast about. And that was the context of fast. I think other things that Jesus did with his body was he was crucified by the empire and he flipped some tables, right? And so I think this fast is more akin to that, that it's a public action, that we happen to be using food and religious language like fasting. But if hunger strike works better for you, I think Jesus would be a hunger striker, and I think he would do that publicly. How does that land, Ted?
I'm not a biblical literalist like I used to be, so that lands very well with me. Thank you, Addie.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, we do this in service. It's not about us and our ego. And the more we do it in service and the more people know about it, the more we are able to serve them to also reach and understand the truth as well. So please share. And I say this as a guy who lives in Bethlehem, like the closest to the guy that was born here 2,000 years ago. So anyone else who is fasting who would like to share with us how it is for them, where they're from, how they're in campaigning and engaging and informing others? Yes, Megan.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Megan Chapman. I'm calling from Albany, New Hampshire, and I'm part of we started as a 7-person chain that was fasting once a day, 1 day a week, and now we've grown to 10 people, including 4 vets. So really happy to be part of that group. It's organized under the New Hampshire Coalition for Just Peace in the Middle East, and I personally have committed to fasting 3 days a week on the 250 calories per day. I just wanted to share a few of the ways that we're trying to put the word out. And I will say that for myself, I mean, I'm a mother, I've got 2 kids, I have about 5 jobs. So it's, the only way I can justify, taking this step and, putting my body through this in light of all those responsibilities is by speaking out and making my voice heard as much as I can. And so I am pushing myself through the discomfort of talking about something that is looked at in a variety of ways, and just saying the reason I'm doing is so that my voice will be heard, so that other people may, not just ignore headlines that they see or feel sad for a minute, but also understand that this is impacting people who they know. And so I am personally committed to recording a video and posting it on all my social media handles every single day that I fast, which is now 3 days a week, and then posting something. It might be a video from someone else at least once a day, mentioning it to as many people I meet. And it's really uncomfortable sometimes, but so is fasting, and so is living with the responsibility that we all have for what's transpiring in Gaza. So I just want to encourage others. I put a social media graphic that we developed. Anyone is free to use that. I shared a press release that we did in New Hampshire. So I hope that these tools are helpful for everyone, and we'll keep on sharing with everybody anything that we develop. And I think we just have to escalate as much as we can and make as much noise as we can. Thank you. And thank you to everyone for organizing this and for this solidarity call.
Thank you, Megan. And yeah, I just also want to point out, Megan put the poster on the chat. So if you just scroll up a little bit, you could see that poster. And thank you for inviting us to use that. Anyone else would like to share?
I have something.
Yes, yes.
Hi, in Temple. I live in Virginia, and one of my friends started a complete fast on May the 1st, He's an old fellow, older than me even. He's 81, and he made it for 14 days before at a lot of us urging him to let up and let more people do the fasting. So he's going to be all right. But what I wanted to say about that is that when he started fasting, I took it upon myself to partially fast with him. And the how I filled out my partial fast was by trying to do some publicity for him. So I got the local NPR people to cover it, and I contacted the newspapers and contacted other groups, etc. So it seems like that's one thing that people can do, is to really up our publicity a lot, as much as we can. And I also want to mention that for years I've been calling every day, calling my legislators in the cause of peace. And, you know, the last 19 months, it's calling and emailing my legislators in the cause of anti-genocide, anti-weapons. And I write a little prompt that I share with other people who also want to call their legislators or email their legislators. It's just a little prompt that I email every day. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Anybody email me if you think getting a little prompt would help you remember and be motivated to call your legislators, then please email me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And maybe one or two more if people would like to share. It's really encouraging, and I also invite you to read what's being put in the chat. Yeah, don't hold back. If you have something to share, please.
Hello, friends. I'm Janie from Northern Colorado. My husband Martin is here. We've been fasting from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. My brother in Amarillo is fasting. He's an elder. And another friend here is fasting. In solidarity with you all. We are very aware that our privilege allows us to decide how we're going to fast. And we're also members of FOSNA, and we're involved with the Episcopal Church here in town that has a project where we are related and connected with families of released prisoners of Israel, hostages, and so we're in communication with them. We're members of Jewish Voice for Peace and Veterans for Peace, and through JVP, we've been calling and emailing our senators and representatives every day, trying to get them to stop this horror. Our comrades here in Fort Collins, twice a week, we have vigils on the street where we get a lot of support from passersby. And we have memorials for Nakba Day and Land Back Day. And we went to Palestine last June, and so we feel even more connected with everyone there. Martin and I are very involved with the Apache people who are trying to protect their sacred lands of Oak Flat, and we're seeing the United States perpetrating cultural and spiritual genocide here as well. And so we're very connected with those issues. We're also putting this out. I'm putting a post out on social media every day, just inviting people to not forget and to be aware that we're all in this together. So thank you. I'm so grateful for all of you.
Thank you, Janie. Thank you, Martin.
Mood.
Yes, Mariana.
Yeah, hi. I'm in Walnut Creek, California, and I actually signed up mostly through Veterans for Peace, which I'm not a vet, but I'm a good friend of a anti-war activist vet, and I was very impressed with Veterans for Peace. I decided to start with a fast with shooting for 250 to 300 calories per meal. and to commit not to buying any food during those 40 days. And as much as possible to just use up what I had in the fridge. And otherwise, I'm using mostly food that was given to me or that was foraged from, stuff that people have thrown out. 3-year-old boxes of pasta or whatever. But this has been good in terms of, as a previous speaker was saying, realizing how many choices I have. That, like, if I just eat the foraged food that other people have thrown out, you can eat so much better here than you can in so many places. And hearing the news yesterday, I was catching up a little bit on the news, and just it made me almost not want to eat at all. And realize if I'm not feeling all that hungry, I'm not really fasting. So I'm looking at upping the fasting. I'm also trying to find other people in the area who are fasting. That's a little bit hard because we're so spread out. But I need to, like, maybe invite people to join me for a week or something, I suppose. Welcome thoughts on that.
Hi, this is Stephanie Judson from New Jersey. I fasted during World Hunger Day and joined other members of my Quaker meeting in doing so. But my husband and I have been very involved with the Middle East for many years. And we lived for 2 years, 1 year in Beirut, 1 year in Ramallah. And we are, and so my husband and I have been involved with many programs having to do with the Middle East. Although I only fasted for 1 day, I'm moved to think about what I would not eat during the next time. We don't eat meat anyway. And it is our commitment and our privilege to be involved with the Middle East and to travel there for many years. I also, although fasted for 1 day, talked with a number of people who had no idea about any of this.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that happened.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ron. Just before you speak, Ron, I want to say something.
Sure.
I just want to honor that this space, and this is something that nonviolence really celebrates, is we don't do webinars, we do community gatherings. And hearing you share with each other, talk with each other, for all of us, you're all amazing people. And just listening and supporting each other in this as a community, this is what we see, creating and building a strong community committed to this work. So yes, Ron, please.
Thank you, Sami. I think my chat, Liz, may have confused you. I did put in New York, but I'm in Syracuse, New York, not New York City. I'm the coordinator for a very, very small VFP chapter here in Syracuse. Since we're so small, we do a lot of work with the Syracuse Peace Council. And I should add that we're on the unceded land of the Onondaga Nation, the firekeepers of the Haudenosaunee. We are doing, most of us are somewhat elderly, and so we're doing each taking a day of the week. We have 7, and we're trying to continue to reach out to people to join us. maybe develop some teams for each day, something like that. So,
Wonderful.
and thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, whatever you can do. This is what we're asking for. Michael, you had something you wanted to share? Okay. So again, this is one of many, many actions that we can engage in, and the demands stay the same. We want the blockade to completely and immediately end over Gaza, to allow for unrestricted humanitarian aid to access to Gaza under the leadership of trusted international agencies, not like what we're seeing today, and to hold those who are engaging in the starvation accountable and listen to the voice of the Palestinians, center their humanity, and defend their rights. This is what we are calling for. And I want to end by asking Dr. Musallam if he is still with us. Dr. Musallam? Just saw him a minute ago. Okay. Well, we try to keep him as much as we can, and I know we're very lucky to have had him with us. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for your commitment. And please do not forget to spread the word as far as you can to your friends and globally. And Adi put a bunch of links for you to look into. And don't forget, next week, Veterans for Peace and FASNA will hold a webinar inviting all those, including yourself, who are fasting. And hopefully the number will be 1,200 by then, Adi. This is what we need to aim for. Yeah, blessings to everyone, and best of luck to all of us in this journey. And may we see our results flourish very, very soon for the people of Gaza and for all of humanity, for all of us to return back to the path of our humanity. Thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Good to see you, Jer. Been a while.
Thanks so much for this program. Thank you so much.
They don't have to go to meetings, and so that the thermal energy comes from the lamp itself. There's a bunch of